Okay, guys, welcome back. Okay, so I'm sure you've all seen. Everything that was going on TikTok. It's been a very chaotic week for me. I don't know. I have therapy today, and I'm so excited to go. Like, I cannot wait to go. But my sister already went, and she kind of filled her in on everything that was happening in my life right now. I've come to the realization that, and I always say, I guess I keep coming to this realization because it's not hitting me, obviously, that there is so many, I'm not going to say bad people because I feel like no person is inherently bad. There's just so many cruel people with cruel intentions, and then there's so many ignorant people who just don't know. Like, ignorance is bliss, they just don't know. They just don't get it. And I just guess I was so unaware of how many there were. Like, I knew that, like, once in a while you'd encounter, like, somebody who's a little cuckoo, but I did not know that this was, like, a mass majority of people. I don't think they're the majority, but there's a lot, guys. There's a lot of them. But the way I look at it is, how lucky am I to be so oblivious to these type of people? Like, how lucky am I to not have known, because what that says about me is that the people I'm surrounded by throughout my entire life, they're pretty great people, you know what I mean? So I consider myself lucky. That's a crazy thing. It's just crazy to think about sometimes. Then it's also like, wow, how did I know this? You know what I mean? You always come across, I'm going to say some stuff that's going to get some people mad, but whatever. Like, incel behavior. It's like the woman haters, the conspiracy theorists, those type of people, like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, the people that belong in a loony bin. Is that what it's called? Like, I know those people exist. I've encountered maybe 3 or 4 of those people throughout my whole life. I just didn't know that there was more of them out there. You know what I mean? Like, a lot. Yeah, they're crazy. Like, I want to really clarify that I always say this. I'm not a therapist, and I do not have any education or background in psychology. And also, I'm a human being. Like, some people will, like, take what I say, like, if I try to share, like, an ounce of positivity, and they're like,
well, you're not perfect. Well, you're not perfect.
And it's like, did I ever say I was Mother Teresa? Like, no, I'm not perfect. What are you talking about? I'm a 22-year-old girl. First of all, sometimes I just choose not to be perfect. Like, sometimes I know what I learned in therapy and how I should react, and sometimes I just choose not to. I'm not perfect. I'm not a saint, and I'm not trying to be a saint. I don't want to be perfect. I think there's balance in life, and if you're too rigid with anything, like if you too rigidly follow, like try to be perfect in therapy, try not to make any mistakes, try not to get triggered at any moment, like that's never going to happen. 1, because we're all human. 2, it's not good to live that way, to hold yourself to such a high standard. That's not a good way to live. So I'm not perfect. I don't know why that's like such a rumor about me. I don't know why. That's the number one thing I always see commented.
Oh, she thinks she's so perfect.
I love that that's the vibe you get from me. I love that that's what I give off. Like, thank you. But I don't think I'm perfect. So anyways, so sometimes you'll hear me say things that aren't therapeutic and that a therapist would not be saying or recommending, because I'm not a therapist. And if I was, then I wouldn't be saying these things. Sometimes I want to, like, I would love to have like go live with one of these people. And these people are just terrible. Like, show me your bank account. And I've gotten like DMs from like, I've gotten DMs from like men saying, you're a piece of shit, like, f*** you, I hope you get the worst things in life. My girlfriend is brainwashed just the same way you are, and she left me because she got brainwashed. Like, okay, babe. So yeah, a lot of the people that are angry are people that got broken up with because their girlfriend went to therapy or their boyfriend went to therapy. A lot of them are people that had bad experiences with therapists, which I totally get. I've mentioned before on this YouTube that I've had literally the worst experiences with therapists before. Like, they traumatized me a lot. I was absolutely anti-therapy as well, but I wasn't going on people's pages and commenting, oh my god, therapy sucks. I was just keeping that shit to myself, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean by, you can have a belief and be like, yeah, therapy sucks. Like, I hated therapy, and therapists can be bad, but like that, like, a person can think that, but they can also like not go on somebody's page who has a positive experience with therapy and wants to share that with people and say, no, therapy sucks. No, therapy sucks. Therapists are bad. Therapists brainwash you. Like, I've never done that in my life. We will pray for them. I will pray for them because I think it's very sad. I think, like, what they don't even realize is, like, okay, if you could have those opinions, that's great. This is what I wanted to say. If you're a person that has those opinions, that's fine. You know, you can choose to have any opinions that you want to have, but you better not reproduce. And I mean that with my whole chest. You better not reproduce. It's one thing for you to hold those shitty opinions, but if you bring children into this world, fuck you. Think before you reproduce. Change that mindset before you reproduce. And then they're like, oh, like, just why don't you just stop talking about mental health? Like, stop talking about therapy. Like, no, I will never shut the fuck up about therapy and generational trauma and healing, because we need to remember that there is a 6-year-old child out there crying because her parents decided to make her. Telling God, crying, telling God, I didn't ask to be here. A 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old. There's a kid locked in a closet right now. There's a kid getting beat right now. There's a baby being neglected. Like, these are children, and when it comes to children, I don't give a what your opinion is, what you think about therapy, or what you think about psychology, or what your conspiracy theorists are about science. I don't give a I truthfully don't give a and this is one thing that I will not be therapeutic about. When it comes to children, your opinions don't matter when it comes to children. There are children out there suffering because of the mindset that you have. So you better not reproduce. And I swear to God if you do. No, I'm kidding. It's just sad. And they will reproduce. That's the sad part. And that's what makes that's what absolutely breaks my heart. The top comment on one of my posts, like a negative comment, the girl's a fucking mother. The girl's a mother. She has like 2 little kids. Ugh. It's so sad. It's so sad. Because you know what? They don't deserve to have a shitty parent. If you choose to be a shitty person, that's fine. But they didn't choose for their parent to be shitty. That's not fucking fair. That's not fair. That's the whole point of therapy. Like, everybody thinks it's selfish. It's about themselves. It's about putting themselves first. Yes, in a sense, it is putting yourself first. And it's okay to be selfish doing that. But it's also about the children. We're losing the whole plot here. We're losing the whole plot. It's about generational trauma. It's about the children. No child deserves an upbringing that's filled with horror and trauma. No child deserves that. And so I will never shut the fuck up about it. If you can't go to therapy for yourself, go for your children or your future children. Because they are children. They are voiceless. They are powerless. They are helpless, and it is up to their parents to protect them and to give them the best life possible. And I'm not saying every parent is perfect. No parent will ever be perfect, and no parent ever intends on hurting their children. There's like not a parent in a world that actually intends on having children just to hurt them, but it happens. Parents end up hurting their children unknowingly, by mistake, because it's all they know, because they didn't go to therapy, they didn't heal from what their parents put them through, so they do it again. And it's always going to happen. It's science. It's in your brain. It's wired there. It's set for you to do it again. And that's it. I'm like starving. I have therapy in 30 minutes, so I have to finish this video quick. And I'm starving, so I need to eat this really quick, and I don't have time to pause to eat this. So it's a beef jerky stick. No, and my dogs are going to come on the bed. No one come. Oh my god, I have to talk and eat at the same time. Initially, when I had saw what Vincent said on the podcast, oh my god, I was furious. I was so mad. Everyone in my life, in my personal life that knows me and Vincent was like, what the hell? And I was like, I know. And everyone's like, Sam, you better just rip the band-aid off and say everything you need to say. Just say it. And I was like, oh, I am. Oh, I am. And so I filmed videos where I was just so angry. I don't even know what they said, honestly. But I know it was like tell all. I just like said everything, and I was gonna post it, and then I don't know, something came over me and I was like, no, let me just think. Like, maybe I will post it later, but first let me just save it and think about it. And so I saved it and I thought about it and I was like, no, okay, I'm not gonna do that. Because I just try to think, like, what would the best version of myself do? And it wasn't that. The best version of myself wouldn't do that. The best version of myself would let people believe what they want to believe, let people think that they were right, let people think that they know the whole story when they don't, and not feel a need to explain my story or my side. And that's what I chose to do. I don't feel the need to explain my story or my side, especially since that side would hurt people. And that's not my intention. I don't want anybody to get hurt by anything that I put out, even if that person has hurt me, and even if that person has lied and done things that are just crazy and bizarre. So I did it. And then I just sang a song. And then I just lip sang a song. And then I decided, but then I thought about it, because then I kept seeing comments on and on and on. And I'm like, geez, like, imagine if I was 16 years old when I had to go to therapy and I wasn't happy about it, and I saw those comments, and I saw people saying therapy brainwashes people, people that go to therapy are just obsessed with themselves, they just want to hear themselves talk, therapy victimizes people, like all these false, inaccurate generalizations about therapy. That would have probably set me back so much as a 16-year-old girl who didn't have such a strong sense of self. That would have affected me. And so I'm like, I can't even imagine how many young people are reading these comments and being affected by them. I'm like, this is so bad. So I'm like, the least I could do without hurting anyone or explain or trying to defend myself or explain my side is just share what I know about therapy and share my positive experiences, not only my positive experiences, but also my whole family, and to just get the facts straight. Because like I said in one of my TikTok videos, like this isn't up for debate. Like, some of these topics aren't for us to form opinions around. They are just the truth. Like, they are just researched facts. If you look at the human brain, you will find these things in the brain. You can look at a person that came from a traumatized upbringing and then somebody who didn't, and they will be completely different brains. This is fact. And lots of different scientists have different beliefs, different theories, and that's okay. There's room for opinions when it comes to that, room for different types of arguments. Therapy is just one tool for healing yourself, for being a happy person, for being a successful person, for being a well-rounded, self-loving person. Exercise, nutrition, meditation, building a stronger relationship with God, whoever that may be for you. These are all things that help a person. I don't know if this is accurate. I have to double check with my therapist. From my understanding, because the child's brain is so fragile during the early stages of life, a person who goes through trauma, who is held under long periods of stress during the early stages of their life, has happy chemicals in their brain. They will produce way less than an average normal person who didn't go through those traumatic experiences. And that's sad, because then you're more prone to depression, anxiety, all these things. Not only mental health issues like depression, anxiety, but also cancer, autoimmune diseases, chronic illnesses. So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Because when I learned about epigenetics, like I said, I was pissed. The cancer does run in my family. Autoimmune diseases do run in my family. So you have genetic markers, right? So if you were born with a genetic marker for cancer, that doesn't mean you're going to get cancer. But depending on your environment, environmental stressors, the way you eat, if you exercise, all that stuff, depending on what you do and what you experience, you can either turn that genetic marker off or you could turn it on. And so if you have a stressful childhood and you do go through trauma and you don't take care of yourself and you don't exercise and you don't fuel yourself nutritiously, you're probably going to turn that genetic marker on. And if you come from dysfunction, part of that has already been done for you. That's why it's so important for me to heal myself, because this is not even just about being sad. This is about getting cancer. The misinformation is so crazy, because it's like, now whoever just said that online, like, you might be responsible for somebody getting cancer now. There's so many things that have gone on behind the scenes, pre-breakup and post-breakup, which is why it makes what Vincent said even crazier. I think in regards to me, in regards to our relationship and everything that has happened. I think Vincent knows exactly what he's doing, so he was wrong for that. Those words should have never came out of his mouth, especially on a podcast. The things I've done, the things I haven't said, and I will never share those things. That's not part of my journey. Part of my journey isn't to make other people's lives harder. So I'm not going to do that. But like at the same time, that man should be kissing my ass and kissing my therapist's ass for making me this way. Seriously, he should be on his hands and knees thanking us. Thank you. The mercy I have shown. Because I know exactly why he went on that podcast and said those things. Like, all I need to tell you is that it's insane. It's bizarre. It's crazy. And I don't have tolerance for crazy anymore. I have nothing left to give. That's how I feel. When I get these crazy things, I have nothing else to say. I have nothing left to give to any crazy person. And oh, my alarm's going off. I have to go to therapy. Oh my God. But she's running 10 minutes late, so I have 10 more minutes. And also, some people think that I see 7+ years in therapy. That's crazy. You're brainwashed. First of all, who said 7 years? Where are you getting that? See what I mean? Like, nobody does their research anymore. Like, where are you pulling that number out of your ass? Where? The therapist that I'm with right now, I've been with for less than 2 years. So I don't know where this is coming from. They're like, oh, 7 years with the same therapist. That's crazy. Where are you getting this information? Like, imagine being that confident and that wrong. There's lots of books on psychology. There's lots of books on epigenetics. There's lots of books on neuroscience. There's lots of books on childhood trauma, on all different types of therapy. You can do your own research. And I don't know everything. I'm not an expert. I'm just a girl that went to therapy. That's all I am. And if you're somebody that has been working on their mental health and has seen some of those comments, I really hope that those didn't discourage you. I really hope that you are confident in yourself and in your own decisions to help yourself and to go to therapy. Therapists are humans too. They make mistakes. And also, my therapist has a supervisor, so she tells me that, like, because she handles families and she sees my family as patients as well, she has to have a supervisor to supervise and oversee all the work that she's doing and to check in with her to make sure that she's keeping everything separate. She takes confidentiality for patients very seriously. My therapist is amazing. I lucked out with my therapist. She's absolutely so intelligent. She's so empathetic. She's so smart. Like, that's really all I can say. She's so smart. Maybe after therapy I can actually film some more, but I have to go right now, so I'll be right back. Bye. I'm back from therapy. I definitely needed that therapy session because I go to my therapist on Wednesdays, and everything happened on like a Thursday or a Friday, so I haven't talked to her about it. What I struggle with that she helps me through is I look at things very analytically, like very logic based. So I'll look at somebody's behavior and I'll say, okay, well, obviously this is this, and like this does this to me, and I feel like it's just logic. She kind of guides me to just to be in touch with what I'm feeling, because I'm like so out of touch with my own feelings sometimes because I'm so used to just like just keep going. Like, I don't have time to think about like how this made me feel, and like to see myself as just a girl going through a breakup and like the pain that comes with that. So yeah, it like sometimes after therapy I'm just so tired because it really does take a lot out of you. It makes me so tired after. I'm like exhausted. I can't really tell you guys like everything that we talked about because like I said, I'm keeping a lot away. Let me just, what I was just telling my therapist was, so throughout my relationship with Vincent, like, you know that song I lip sing? And she said, never told anyone bad because that shit's embarrassing. Yeah, I was embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I didn't tell anybody anything bad. Okay. I lied to my friends. I lied to my family. And I lied to my therapist. So to blame our breakup on my therapist, who was oblivious to anything going on because I was withholding information from her because I felt shameful, because I didn't want her to think he was a bad person, is crazy, because the girl didn't even fucking know. She never suggested I break up with my boyfriend. That's number one. Let's get the facts straight. That girl never suggested that I break up with my boyfriend because she didn't know. Throughout my whole relationship, that's what I did. I protected. I made up lies. I painted things to be way different than they were. While I was doing this, painting somebody to be such a great person, I was just getting hurt. It was like just hurt over and over and over and over and over by this person. And then now, post breakup, I told my therapist, I'm like, I'm frustrated because I'm in the same role. I'm literally doing the same thing that I was doing while I was in the relationship. I'm lying to people. I'm protecting their name. Though some people may not believe that because they consider saying that somebody comes from dysfunction to be a bad thing. And they like to quote when I said, well, she told us that he begged for her back. The context of me saying that, I was trying to explain the feeling of when you love someone so much and they keep hurting you. And then when you finally work up the courage to say, I don't think this is good for me, but then they come to you and they beg you to stay. And I'm not saying beg to demean or to degrade him and say, haha, oh my God, you're begging me. I'm saying beg so you know what it feels like to have a person that you love, that you want to be with, beg you to be with them. That's hard. Like, that was the point. It's like you don't even want to leave this person, and now they're sitting here saying, please don't leave me, even though it's hurting you. Of course it's going to be hard for you to leave. That was the whole point of me saying beg. Maybe I could have used a better term. I'm trying to think what would be a better term. Actually, no, that. The better terms. Here I am. How I could have been more conscious of my words to protect the feelings of somebody who keeps hurting me. So, anyways, here I am post breakup protecting this person. And then they go on a podcast and tell the world that I'm brainwashed. Like, I'm in the same role. It's so tiring, which is why part of me, when I saw it, just wanted to say everything. I just wanted to rip the band-aid off and just say everything that I've been holding in and lying about to everyone. So he should be very thankful that I'm brainwashed, because that's the only reason I'm sharing shit. Hold on, my dog is knocking at my door, so I have to let him in for the 50,000th time. Basically, what that means is that nobody knows the real story except myself, except Vincent, and except the people around us in our lives. But at the same time, he did go on that podcast and say those things. So I'm just going to address what he said, and I'll tell you guys why he said it. So, just so we're clear, let's say I had a terrible therapist. Let's say she was brainwashing me about some whatever stuff. My relationship was never a topic because, once again, I kept that private. That being said, even if I was being brainwashed, I certainly wasn't being brainwashed to break up with him. That's number one. Number two, when you have things to work on and the person leaves you and says, this is why we were breaking up, if you blame that on anything other than yourself, you are trying your very hardest to not take accountability. That's all this is. It's a lack of accountability. So it's easier to blame a therapist for brainwashing someone into leaving them instead of saying, wow, I made some mistakes. That's why this person is leaving me. I once heard an alcoholic in my own life say word for word, AA brainwashes people. Like, no, babe, you're just an alcoholic. Therapy brainwashes people. No, you just sabotaged your whole relationship. And once again, I'm going to do what I know how to do best. Let me put some disclaimers. I think Vincent has an amazing soul. This is hard for me to say. Honestly, at this point, this is actually getting hard for me to say. I'm not even going to lie. But I do believe it. I know deep down past my anger, I believe this. Vincent is an amazing person. He has an amazing soul. I used to believe he has good intentions. I can't say that with my whole chest anymore. I just have empathy. I just feel sad because it's not that it's not his fault, but like, this is what happens with dysfunction. That's all. I'm always trying to look for excuses to excuse people's behaviors, but at the end of the day, it's like, this person is like nonstop hurting you. Like, wake up. Once you get the public involved and you do that shit, I don't know this person. The person I did know, I had hope for, you know? My intention is never to hurt anyone. And I hate that I even have to clarify this. My whole relationship, all I ever wanted for Vincent was the best. I just wanted him to love himself. That's all I ever wanted. And I hate that I'm even in a position where I have to explain that or defend that because of the narrative that he's putting out there, that he's letting happen. I can't believe it. So don't try to fix people. It's never going to happen. You can't do it. They have to want it themselves. I think he's a great person. I think that he has a lot to work through. And I'm not helping that situation by not holding him accountable. What he did was wrong. And that's it. Does this mean he's a terrible person? No. He's making mistakes and he's young. So I think he deserves forgiveness. But when there's no apology to forgive or no accountability being taken, then there's no forgiveness to be given. I also got some nasty DMs from men who said that I'm brainwashed just like their girlfriends who left them. And any woman, even if you're a guy, I want any person out there who has gone to therapy and who's had a partner say these things about them. I want you to know that the person is just treating you poorly and they don't want to take accountability for that. So it's easier for them to say that you are being brainwashed than for them to take accountability for their actions. When some people DM me for advice, I don't know their situation, so I don't want to give advice where I don't know the whole story. You know, I can't possibly do that. So I think the best thing to think about is if your daughter came to you and told you that her boyfriend was treating her the way your boyfriend was treating you, what would you say to her? Would you tell her that he loves her and he's just making mistakes? I wouldn't. I feel like that pretty much wraps everything up. Did I cover everything? I think I covered everything, right? When you have a good therapist, therapy is not brainwashing. Yes, there are a few bad apples out there, as there are in any other profession. Find a therapist that's right for you. You can research other ways to work on your mental health, exercise, nutrition, meditation, a relationship with God, any of these things. These are all good things. Connecting to yourself, connecting to your emotions, to your feelings, to your mind. It's always a good thing. Never apologize for wanting the best for yourself and for your future children. And like I said, my driving force in all of this, it wasn't even for myself, which is sad, but it really was for my future children. I was able to do it for them. That's what really keeps me going, you know? I did it for them. Okay, bye guys.